Alrighty. I want to make sure that everyone can see me. For some reason, I am not. Okay, here we go. I believe that we are live. Okay, that's what I was waiting on. Hey, everyone. I had to get the text, get the tech together, and wanted to make sure that we were showing and live in the group. I don't know what this is over here. What is that? What is that? Okay, sorry guys. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, something just happened. Y'all bear with me. There we go. Okay. I don't know what this little square is over here on the side. I don't know what that is, but either way, let's delete that. Okay. I don't know what this little gray thing over here is on the side, but just forgive that. Right now we're streaming in the Facebook group, and then we have some attendees that are on YouTube watching us. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay. We're going to stay on for about 15 minutes, and I'm going to do a really, really quick review of the homework. I'm going to get through as many as I can. You guys know that I'm working on my doctorate, so I actually have to go and write a little bit. So I can't stay on. But my hope is that you all are able to get a glean from the feedback that I give. And even if I don't necessarily get to your homework, make sure that you take the strategies and apply it to your power positioning statement. So I'm looking forward to connecting with everyone tomorrow for day 2, which is where we're going to be talking about packaging. Now, a couple of things that I definitely want to make sure I touch on before I get into the homework is that some of you all are saying, hey, I'm not getting the emails. I'm not getting the emails. So we don't manually send out emails. They are automated. So if you're not receiving the emails, they're either number one in spam, or you entered the email incorrectly, or you did not subscribe to the emails. Okay. Some of you all got the first email and immediately unsubscribed, and some of you all did not opt in to receive the emails. And so what happens is that when you unsubscribe from the list, you are not going to receive anything. Okay. When you unsubscribe, you're not going to receive any type of correspondence. So that means that if you paid to be in the challenge, you paid for the workbook, you didn't opt in to get the emails, the workbook is sent via email. And if you say, hey, I don't want emails, it's not going to be sent to you. And that's not anything that we can control. That's how the system works. So if you want to make sure that you're receiving the daily email correspondence, the updates, the replays, everything is sent via email. And if you are like, I'm not getting it, it's because you unsubscribed or you did not opt in when you signed up. So we'll make sure that we give you guys the link so that you can sign up for the email list to ensure that you are receiving all correspondence, all replay links, everything. Like even for today, the replay link for both the general admission and VIP has already been sent out. It was sent out earlier. Okay. So we just want to make sure that you're getting everything that you need to be successful. All right. Super excited that you all are here. Deron said that hers was in the promotion folder in her email. So you may have to look in your promotions. You might have to look in your spam. You might have to look in your junk. You might have to look in the trash. If you have some emails that automatically go to the trash, and you'll have to whitelist it, which means that you'll have to unmark it as trash, spam, or promotions so that it will directly go in your inbox. Okay. All right. Just want to share that. So what I'm going to do, I am going to share my screen. I'm not, the way that Facebook works, I'm not able to see all the comments. I literally have to log in. I have to log in and view it from my phone. So give me 1 second to see all the comments. I have to log. Okay, there we go. I should be able to see the comments now. Okay, cool. All right. So we're good to go. I want to make sure that I'm logged in on my phone so I can see your comments. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen. And so what you're going to see now is the actual Facebook group. And what I'm doing, I'm going under the homework. So your homework assignment said that using the framework, write your power positioning statement in one sentence. So we're going to be looking to see that you use the framework and that you wrote your power positioning statement in one sentence. And I'm going to give you feedback on your power positioning statement, those of you all that submitted them, okay? All right, so Siobhan, let's see. All right. Siobhan says, my book teaches leaders at large nonprofits, colleges and universities, and local government entities our time-tested Think Inc. funder framework so they can master the grant writing process and win grants consistently year after year, okay? And guys, I'm going to be giving you feedback with my Coach Jasmine hat on, so this is not anything personal. This is for you all to course correct and to make sure that you are optimizing your work. All right, so this is what I would suggest, Siobhan. My book teaches leaders at large nonprofits, colleges, universities, and local government entities. Now, here's where I would suggest that you take out this next part, our time-tested Think Inc. funder framework, because at the end of the day, it's good for you to communicate the framework, but in writing, it's not going to translate well. And you don't want to leave people thinking, well, what is all of that? What is Think Inc. funder? You want to remove any questions, you want to remove any doubt, and you want to make it as simple as possible. So my book teaches leaders at nonprofits, colleges, universities, and local government entities how to master the grant writing process so they can win grants consistently year after year. Okay. So let me know if you caught that revision. Keisha says, I feel like I'm overthinking. So this is where we have to change our language a bit. Okay. This is where we have to change our language a bit and say, okay, you know what? This is challenging me to communicate what I do better. Okay. My book helps children feel brave, curious, and confident as they begin their kindergarten adventure. I love it. I actually like it. My book helps children feel brave, curious, and confident as they begin their adventure into kindergarten. So I would just turn that phrase around. But I know that kindergarten can give kids the heebie-jeebies as well as parents. So I think that just making that adjustment will help to clarify the ending a bit. All right, Jen says, Jen, I gave you, you came in during the VIP session right after I answered your question. So I'm not sure if you had the opportunity yet to review the VIP replay, but I laid it out. All right. So make sure you go back and watch that VIP replay. So your power positioning statement says, my book helps family decide if and where they should move so they can reconnect and make great memories before their children leave the house. I love it. So this means that the way that this is positioned is communicating that your book is for parents. My book helps parents. Your book is for parents of younger children. Your book is for parents of school-age children. And I gathered that because you said before their children leave the house, which means typically that if they have kids there, they're 21 or under, or 18 or under. So they have younger children. I just want to make sure that that's the audience that you're going for. Shatera says, my book helps teen girls express themselves through journaling and expressive writing so they can discover who they are, become more confident, and embrace self-love during their teenage years. I love it. Now, where the one adjustment that I would suggest making is where you, instead of saying discover who they are, maybe saying something to the degree of increase their self-awareness, or develop a strong sense of self, something to that degree, because discover who they are is a little bit ambiguous. And remember, from the content from today, we don't want to be vague. We want to be very specific. So if you can specify, bring some specificity to that piece, discover who they are, and everything else is solid. Naima says, my book teaches single women to connect confidently with their higher selves and create sticky personal brands so they can attract healthy masculine men. Okay, so you followed the framework here. My question though is that this create sticky personal brands, that's unclear to me. And the confidently connect confidently with their higher selves and create sticky personal brands. From the onset, I'm wondering how that meshes. And I'm wondering what a sticky personal brand is. So going back to what we talked about today, the key to positioning is making sure that you're using language that your ideal reader resonates with and that they use to identify themselves. So is your ideal client saying, hey, I want to create a sticky personal brand? Right? So I think that we probably need to make some modifications to the language there just to bring more specificity and clarity to what you're referring to with that sticky personal brand phrase. Okay. But good job. Great job. All right. Shanice says, my 8-week journal guides anxious head dwellers to connect with their heart's wisdom so they can amplify positive states on demand. All right, Shanice, this was definitely a great attempt, and thank you so much for submitting it. So I have a few questions for you and just some redirects here. Anxious head dwellers. Who, we don't know who that audience is. We've got to give some definition to that audience. Is it men? Is it women? Is it, overachievers? Like who is an anxious head dweller? And who do you know who that describes themselves as an anxious head dweller? So this goes back to the language piece, making sure that we're not using language that we think is great, but using language that our ideal client or our ideal reader is using to describe themselves, or that resonates with them. Okay. I hope that this is making sense for everyone. I hope this is bringing some clarity. Okay. To connect with their heart's wisdom. So that's one of those ambiguous phrases. What is heart's wisdom? What does that mean? What does heart's wisdom look like? Okay. So we've got to bring some specificity to this so that if you're telling this to a 5th grader, they understand exactly what you're referring to. So they can amplify positive states on demand. Positive states on demand. We need some clarity as to what that is. So I would definitely encourage you to go back and rework this. And I would encourage you to let the deep, and I don't mean this offensively, but let the deep language go and just be very clear with what we're talking about here and who we are talking to. Okay. Right. Raisa, I hope I pronounced your name. If I didn't pronounce your name, just let me know how I pronounce it. My book guides professionals to replace pressure with precision, shifting from forceful striving to align effective movement that unlocks their next level. So I would encourage you to go back to the workbook, the power positioning framework. Let me pull it up. I have all my notes here still on my desk. I would encourage you to go back to the workbook. The power positioning statement framework is laid out on page 5. And I would encourage you to use that particular method: the statement of action, the audience, the action, the connecting bridge, and the outcome, along with using the example that I gave in today's session to rework your power positioning statement, because you're missing some key elements here. You have the statement of action, which is guides, my book guides. You have the audience, which is professionals. You have the action. Well, the action says to replace pressure with precision, but that's one of those ambiguous phrases that we don't really know what exactly that means. So what does that mean to replace pressure with precision? Is this emotional pressure? Is this mental pressure? Is this personal pressure? What kind of precision are we replacing it with, right? Let's get very, very specific with what exactly we're talking about here, okay? And then we're missing the connecting bridge and we're missing the outcome, all right? So definitely make sure that you go in and use that power positioning framework. You can, if you didn't download the workbook, you can still purchase the workbook, and the power positioning framework is on page 5. Use that framework along with the breakdown that I did towards the end of today's session to rework your power positioning statement, and feel free to come back and repost it. All right, Linda says, my book will empower writers and visionaries to transform pain into purpose and stories into movements that heal and transpire. So again, this goes to one of the things I was talking about with power positioning. We're not transforming pain into purpose, or you're going to be attracting all the people that are in pain. And sometimes people can be so much in pain that they're not ready to transform and that they don't have the mindset to transform. So instead of focusing on the people that are in pain, we want to focus on the outcomes. So you have my book will empower. That's your statement of action. Writers and visionaries is your audience that's where the action you have transformed pain into purpose. That's where you have the action there, but that's where I want you to rework it a bit. And then we're missing the connecting bridge so they can. And then we're missing the outcome. What's the clear outcome? You said something about stories into movements that heal and inspire. But when they do that, what's the outcome of that? Okay. When they turn their stories into movements, are you saying my book will empower writers and visionaries to transform their stories into movements so they can heal and inspire others? Now that would work. Okay. Heavenly says, my book helps educators utilize success criteria to enhance instruction and boost student achievement. So my book helps is the statement of action. Educators is the audience. Actions, utilize success criteria. The only thing about this, Dr. Heavenly, is specifying what type of success criteria we're looking at. Are you looking at a wide range of success criteria, or are you utilizing data from specific success criteria? So like, what is the success criteria you are directly looking at? All right. So my book helps educators utilize success criteria. Let's add more specificity there so they can enhance instruction and boost student achievement. That's the adjustment I would encourage you to make. All right. Cynthia says, my book. Okay. Cynthia, definitely go back to page 5 and use the power positioning framework to rework this. I see my book, Cubicle Death. But we're missing a statement of action. My book helps, my book teaches, my book empowers. We're also missing the audience. I don't see the audience. Who is your book for? The action, discover practical steps. Discover practical steps to infuse daily life with meaning. We're missing the connecting bridge and we're missing the outcome. So go back and rework that using the framework. I'm not sure who. Okay, Archel or thank you so much for letting me know your name. My book empowers young learners K through 2nd grade to explore ancient Egypt so they can discover the power of character and leadership. Everything else in the middle doesn't need to be there. It's just extraneous. And while you're telling somebody all of that, their mind is wandering, and their mind has started wandering, and they've lost connection. All right. So my book empowers young learners to explore ancient Egypt through story so they can discover the power of character and leadership. 5 seconds or less. All right. Nefertari says, my book encourages Christians. You don't need the title of the book. My book encourages Christians to release negative emotions. So remember, not speaking to the negative, not speaking to the pain, speaking to the positive. So my book encourages Christians to, what's the opposite of negative emotions? Right? To develop positive emotions, or to discover joy and happiness through uplifting Bible verses, so they can. We're missing that connecting bridge, y'all. That connecting bridge is getting some of y'all. All of this through prayer quotes, journaling, exploration, creative drawing, note taking, doodling, and you're telling somebody all of that. Or that whole, here's the thing, that your power positioning statement should fit in your Instagram bio, in your Facebook bio, and on the header on your website, in your LinkedIn, and you should be able to articulate it and communicate it in 5 seconds or less. And here's the thing, once you guys get to saying all of these extra things, nobody's listening to that. So it sounds good to you, okay? And you're putting this there because you think you need that. But let me tell you, the more that you can simplify this and be straight to the point, the better it's going to be. The more you can simplify it and be straight to the point, the better it's going to be. All right? My book encourages Christians to find joy or develop better emotions through uplifting Bible verses, so they can, and whatever that outcome is. All right. So go back and rework this using the format that's on page 5. Angela says, I've always been told to speak to where they are, speak to the pain. My biggest takeaway from today was speak to the positive, the desired outcome. That's so true, because I know people who are mourning and they are not ready to let their grief go, and that's okay for a season. My book supports people who are mourning cope with their grief so they can laugh and dance again. Okay, so my book helps, instead of people who are mourning, my book helps people overcome grief. Okay? Or my book helps people who've lost loved ones overcome grief. Not mourning. What's the opposite of mourning? This is the overcome. So they can laugh and dance again. And I really like that. I really like that. It's definitely needed. Definitely needed. I just, right before I logged on, I saw that one of my mentors just lost their father. You know, so grief is real. Shalonda says, my book. Okay, so let's go back, Shalonda, page 5. My book in a statement of action. My book helps, my book teaches, my book motivates, my book inspires this group of people to do X, Y, and Z so they can get this outcome. Okay. Your book can definitely be a tribute to your grandmother, because I believe all of us have dedicated our book to somebody, but we still have to articulate who the book is for, what the book is teaching, and what the outcome of reading that book is going to be. All right. Marilyn says, my book guides adults ages 25 to 45. Okay, so all right, single and heads of households. My book guides single adults to my book helps single adults realign their goals and desires. So my book helps single adults align their goals and desires with God's purpose for their life, so they can lead with confidence, make wiser choices, and influence others toward positive change. If this was my book, that's how I would change that. All right. So I think that's it. I think I went through all of them. So thank you to everyone for submitting. Thank you to everyone for submitting your homework for day 1. I hope that this was helpful. I went a little bit over our time, but let me know in the chat if this was helpful for you. I'm going to go ahead and log off. Thank you so much for tuning in to our pop-up homework review. And I will see the VIPers tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon. And I will see everyone in the general session at 1 o'clock. We're going to talk about day 2, which is packaging. VIP attendees, make sure that you submit any questions that you have via the form. We're going to go through them and get them all done tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your evening. Good night.